Guys, if you're looking for style, comfort, and versatility, check out the latest collections from Versed. Whether you're hitting the gym or tackling your daily routine, Verst's wide selection of menswear blends proven performance with a functional and classical look. Their new fleece collections are designed with premium fabrics, the perfect layered style that keeps you feeling good and looking even better. Explore the latest from Verst for next-level comfort and elevated style. Available only at Dick's Sporting Goods. Shop now at dicks.com/first.
From the ashes of, I think this is me starting, but I can't think of what ashes. From the ashes. So we're, I guess we're starting gas stations?
At the feet of the statue of Theseus, lost to the desert sands.
From the ashes of the red box that exists in the future in a parallel universe somewhere
red box.
in the
Timekeepers.
Loki. It's scraping the vault.
Hey, scrape it.
We're scraping it. I'm Dan, and right across the actual physical table from me is Audrey, because you're alphabetically first.
I could spit on both of you right now.
Let's do it. And Jimmy.
Hey, look. I'm touching Audrey.
Touching.
We've summoned a demon.
Oh, you weren't joking.
No, I haven't. It's just empty. Sorry, listener.
I've got some lavender EOS hand sanitizer if you'd like.
No,
It's got essential oils.
I have more spit. Speaking of more spit, we watched 101 Dalmatians 2.
What's the full title, Dan?
Patches. Wait, no, hold on. Patches. London. Scamp.
Daring Journey.
Patch.
How many times did I write
Scamp.
Scamp in my notes thinking patch? Because it's
Once
one
per
was
page.
one was Lady and the
times.
Tramp. One was Lady and the Tramp Scamp's Adventure.
Yeah.
And this is 101 Dalmatians 2 Tramps. No. Damn it. Patches London Adventure.
Patches London Adventure.
So I conflated the two of these things the whole time I'm watching, and I'm thinking like 101 Dalmatians, Lady and the Tramp. There was even like a scene where they're in London and they go to like the back door of a fancy Italian restaurant, a big fat Italian guy running down the street. And it ended up being sausages, but I thought for sure it was going to be spaghetti and meatballs that they...
Right. I mean, but I think
Bangers and mash.
there's certain tropes that we've discovered in all of these movies, and a fat Italian restaurant guy is one of them. Chubby sibling.
It's like the Mary Kate and Ashley movies. They just had a formula and then copied.
We need to watch those. I have them on DVD, guys.
Give me pizza.
Oh my gosh, what are the names of those movies?
Like Passport to Paris.
Yes,
and
I
like
have that.
London.
Oh no.
London Calling.
Yeah, I have. By the way,
The Tweens in Tokyo.
their younger
gonna
sister. Yes, it will. Their younger sister, Mary Kate Ashley, Elizabeth Olsen is arguably the more famous because she's in all the Marvel movies.
Right.
And,
I don't know.
More attractive. I'm just throwing it out there.
Her career's not in the same place, I would say. Like, Mary Kate and Ashley were so huge.
Well, they're part of the zeitgeist, I guess. But I think as far as like modern day relevance, if you ask a teenager, they'll know Elizabeth Olsen more than they'll know their sisters.
That checks out.
Let's call one.
Yeah. So the movie Bangers and Mash, conflating. Yeah. Anyway,
so
have we started yet?
We've started.
Okay,
we're
great.
starting. We've already
I
started.
don't have my headphones.
I'm so dazzled by the two of your eyeballs. It's like human
We
eye
have 4.
contact.
Total.
Whoa.
I got more in the shed.
Was that a body in the fridge that I saw?
Yeah.
Too? Very cool. All right.
By the way, we're at Rosie's house.
Shout out to Rosie. What a beautiful
Shout
woman.
out to Rosie. Thank you,
And
Rosie, for letting us use your beautiful patio.
Right?
Where did the peppers go?
He left. He'll be back, I'm sure, at some point.
Finn.
Finn.
Yes.
Finn.
Finnegan.
We're sharing a lot of information.
The address is 2465 San Diego Way, San Diego,
Yes.
California.
Right. So we're
Right.
together.
We are.
And we had to figure out a sort of perilous audio situation. So I'm without my toys right now, which I'm sure will probably make this stranger when I go in and edit things, because we all know what the show turns into when I do that.
Well, big thanks in advance for future day.
I'm talking in.
Oh my God.
It's
Oh, no.
proof we're together.
Oh no.
Now I'm talking in my mic.
It's like one of those ASMR haircuts.
That's right. Oh, we should do the Lincoln show.
Oh, God.
Scraping the vault.
Put us on left and right channels. And
Then more people will listen.
oh yeah.
Of course.
Because everyone loves that.
This
Did you
is the
hear?
sound of fingernails on a microphone.
Ooh.
Oh. It's like I'm there. Because I am.
What?
Ah. Oh, by the way, welcome back from the break.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back.
because we're doing ad breaks now, and I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think we know when they're happening or where. So we're just gonna occasionally say welcome back.
And now it's time for a word from our sponsor.
welcome
And
back.
welcome back.
And now it's time for a word from our sponsors.
And welcome back.
Welcome back.
We got plenty? We got plenty?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
great.
Let's do another one. And
now
words happen
happen
sponsors
sponsors
now.
And
And
welcome
welcome
back.
back.
Welcome back. Okay.
Thank you, Asher.
Asher absolutely must have an ad spot in this episode.
He's a real boy, and he's cool.
That's right. He's
You
sitting
know what?
right next
I
to
feel
me.
like there's a good chance Asher would like to advertise something right now.
Yo, what's up? My name is Asher and I'm a cool kid who is also real. I'm here to put the hype roll on a brand new product for summer. It's called keeping your microphone on. Do you sometimes turn off your microphone while recording your podcast? Jimmy does. In fact, he's just about to. But don't worry because you don't miss a lot. So if you're looking to make your podcast even weirder than it already is, turn that mic off. But if you want your sweet podcast to shred the hype nards like a real lit TikTok, I suggest leaving the microphone on. Then maybe Shannon Elizabeth Smith will even be on your show. Back to the podcast, Turd Burglars.
And we're back.
What have I done?
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Oh, my
speaking of past and present tense in the form of a conversation, what did we think this movie? Wait, no,
Use
we
full
talk
sentences.
about. We talk
Oh,
about
what did we think
the
it was
year
going to be?
first.
Oh, year. Yes.
I swear this isn't a bit.
It's really not. I forget every time.
So this came out in 2003, and
So did Audrey.
in lieu of she's 18 years old.
I wish.
In lieu of me playing music from the time. In lieu of that, I figured let's talk about what we were doing in 2003. Audrey, what were you doing in 2003?
Okay, well, I was either 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Should we pick? I would be 13 on the 19th. June, I would have been 12.
What about May?
Also 12.
What about April?
Still 12.
How about January?
Then I would have been 12.
Okay.
January 2003, I would have been 12.
What about January 2002?
I would have been 11.
I
I think.
see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
I November 19th. I did. I said if it was on the 19th, then I would have been 13.
What if it was the 13th?
I appreciate your honesty and candor. I'm okay. So 12. What month are we in right now? It's July.
Yeah.
July. I was.
Mm-hmm.
And the dogs are barking the theme song.
So cute. What a great choice. You're immediately giving this movie 10 times more character than, like, I don't know, Pocahontas 2 or something.
Or
Yeah.
Tarzan 2 or any of them really. And this one had opening credits.
Yeah.
I think for the first time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
More gravitas, maybe more credibility.
I got to say about those opening credits, I started watching this movie, and if the mic is picking up my pen, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this anymore after this. Oh yeah, I started watching this movie with no,
Your eyes?
with my eyes. I was watching it with my eyes, then I started watching it with my butt.
So funny. That's what I did too.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I started watching it with descriptive audio. Is what I'm trying to think of, because no, just like it's audio for people who have difficulty with sight. So it explains. It says this is what's happening. This is the castle's on the screen. There's a spot. There's another spot, and I'm good. I like to do these. I like to do that with movies that I'm not expecting to enjoy.
I've been on mute for a long time.
Have you really?
Yep.
Oh no. How long?
Go ahead.
Oh no.
And here's the preview.
Welcome back. You muted it to do something.
Yeah, don't press that button.
I'm not gonna press that button. I don't know how long it's been. Have you seen my little waveforms?
I haven't really been looking.
Oh.
I mean, I see waveforms.
No.
Well, if I absolutely have to, I can grab your audio off of someone else's mic.
Oh my god.
Sorry, you didn't miss much.
It's fine. So I was watching with descriptive audio because I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, but then I thought that's not fair, and I turned it off. But I noticed that usually when you watch with descriptive audio, it'll read everything that it says, like every credit. But with this one, it was just 101 Dalmatians 2. And then it was just like, now a spot's chasing another spot. And now this spot's doing that. And I'm just like, yeah, I get it. Spots are chasing spots. Who made this movie?
Do I have to watch this with my freaking eyes? Damn
Right.
it.
Then the answer is Disney made it. And that's all that matters.
Yep. Yeah, so there were credits.
There were.
Is the thing. And it did feel like more legitimacy was added to it because there were credits. And it says something I noticed. It was interesting. It says based on the novel, The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith.
Right. And you've been looking into that.
I have, and I don't really need to go into it, but
No, I'm curious.
well, that's all I got. Other than, oh no, I've already gone off the page. But she was an author. She wrote 101 Dalmatians. But what I thought was interesting is called The 101 Dalmatians.
Right.
And when I went onto the Wikipedia, it talks about all of her other works, The 101 Dalmatians, and it talks about the live action remake of 101 Dalmatians and 102 Dalmatians with Glenn Close, but it doesn't say anything about this movie on her Wikipedia.
Weird.
Oh.
But this movie says it's based on the story The 101 Dalmatians, but I don't think this is part of that book. I haven't read it.
Maybe it's just the concept.
Yeah, I
of
think
it
it's
to-
based on
Characters by, like everything that Star Wars is based on characters by George Lucas. But
I am kind of curious about what that book is and what it's like, because, and I don't think that this is an anti-capitalist movie necessarily, but there are things in it that I found really interesting, because it's like, here's this eccentric heiress who's like the devil.
Yes.
It's in her name.
Right? And then like it gets into like just like criticism of celebrity culture, and like there's a lot of interesting things in there that are kind of embedded in the world, I think. And I wonder how much of that and how much of the like the flavor of those movies is from that book.
by the way, I think in the future we need to, when we're doing these movie reviews, that we have to have read the source material. We have to have read the books.
No,
That's a commitment.
no.
That is a
Jimmy,
bit
you're
more
welcome
of a
to.
commitment. I can.
It
hardly-
is on brand for me, but yeah. Anyway, so we open the movie on a quiet London street where we hear a voiceover reminiscing about a short time ago where Pongo is remembering a simpler time.
And it is not Jeremy Irons.
It's not.
I love the background art in this
Yes,
movie. It's
this
all
is
so beautiful.
hands down the best animation of any of these movies so far.
I would agree.
I remember seeing this opening, hearing the voice, hearing all of it hitting me, and me thinking, you better not let me down, movie. Because I'm kind of it's very, very loyal to the style of the original, like all across the board.
Agreed.
That sketchy animation style.
Yeah,
that, like,
the lines are all very sketchy.
Yeah,
soft.
like if you had told me that they used a Xerox machine to transfer everything, I would have been like, yeah, they did.
Well, and another thing I thought was interesting to that point is in the opening credits, there was a dialect coach. Like there was a speech dialect coach who was credited, which is interesting because I thought the dialects were all really good.
They
that
had
were
a
trying
budget.
Anyway. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Pongo is introducing his pet Roger, who's the man playing the piano, and all of his Dalmatians around. So he's inspired to write a song, and he sings a song about spots.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all happening while they packed, as his wife reminds him, and I don't know her name. His wife reminds him, lady, right?
Wife,
wifey, Mrs.
Wife,
Mrs. Wife. But
this movie doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
I don't think it does, but it doesn't. It's not in a bad way.
But guys, it does pass the Bechdel test.
Aw.
And welcome back.
So, welcome back. Thanks, Asher. Tomorrow's moving day. The wife
Mhm.
reminds him.
We're moving to Georgia.
They're moving to Georgia to Cherry Farms. It's 2003. They make some bad decisions with Christmas trees.
They're gonna live downstairs from a certain Jimmy.
That's right. And we're not newlyweds, but they will have a Dalmatian plantation.
Yeah.
So this song, it must be moving to the south. So the song starts off about spots, then it ends up being like a Dalmatian plantation. Was this like two songs that were mashed together? I couldn't tell.
Honestly, I mean, if you were to put a pile of money on the table in front of me and say you need to answer that question, I'm not going to be able to take that money today. But it didn't bother me.
Yeah, so it was about this time, maybe a few minutes later into the movie, that I had to take a break. I went inside and
Jimmy Whitten took a big dump.
I went to see my wife, and
who was taking a big dump
on my chest, and
all she was doing on your chest.
We have an interesting relationship. Hey, 17 years. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to keep it spicy.
15
Keep
years.
it fresh.
15 years. Anyway.
But not too spicy because it hurts coming out.
Tommy's later.
Just put a little Vaseline on your poo shoe. I used to eat a lot of spicy food.
It was about this time that I walked in. She said, "How's the movie?" And I basically told her the rest of the movie without having watched it.
Oh, no.
Here's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think I had it predicted
Yeah.
pretty early on, especially with. I don't think we've met the character yet,
No.
but thunder and
Thunderbolt.
lightning,
Thunderbolt and
and
Little
lightning and little patches, Mickey.
So all the dogs are really excited about moving. All the dogs except Patch.
Oh, he's different.
No, he's different.
Mhm.
He's sitting. Well, he's got a patch on his eye. He's got a little black spot.
That was like what they did in the live action 102 Dalmatians is they gave that one puppy
Right.
no spots and a black tail.
Mhm.
Wow.
Special marking.
Ooh.
So Patch he's not excited because he's sitting in front of a blank TV screen. And the reason he's doing this is because he wants to get his spot because they watch TV every night. And
Mhm.
because he's just one of 101, he wants to get his spot in front of the TV. But it is feeding time. And Patch, of course, is left out. All the dogs, all the 100 other dogs
Poor thing. He's
have already
starving.
eaten. I guess there's 101.
There's 99.
Including Pongo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense later when I have a note of 98,
So Patch is the runt,
I guess.
kind of. I mean, by definition.
By definition.
And
But
then he's got a fat one.
there's a fat one.
There's
That should be the
girl dog number 3.
Yeah,
with
that's
the,
right.
Yeah.
With the long eyelashes.
And then there's all, like the tropes of these movies, like Thunderbolt, which we'll get into later, has a fan club, and there's a tall, skinny one. There's a short, fat one. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, it's hitting all the marks. But anyway, so
I wonder if the writer's room where it's like they present something and they're saying like, okay, well, here's the scenario, and then there's this friend, and then
Here we
someone
go, yo.
someone is
Here
like,
we go, yo. So
okay, so
what's
is
the
there a fat one?
scenario?
yeah, where's the fat one? Where's the tall, thin one? Where's the thirsty, fat
It's
one?
form language. They got to break up the shapes. You can't just have all round ones. You need to have a triangular one. You need to have a round one, and then maybe
That's
something
fair.
more square, blockish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
translates to fat, tall, skinny,
Mm-hmm.
and then, beefcake.
But they also tend to have the same kind of characteristics, like you were saying, super thirsty,
Yeah.
or like all about like food.
So it's TV time. Patch, he's in front of the TV so he doesn't miss his spot.
Mhm.
It's feeding time. By the time he gets to the food, it's all gone. And then it's TV time. He's trying to find food, so he misses his TV spot.
Poor thing.
So they're watching a show called Thunderbolt. It's a show about a dog who saves the day, all like Lassie, but a little bit more sentient, right?
And I gotta say that cartoon is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
I loved it. I like how it's black and white. I like the villain character and, his wily mustache.
Right.
And like the train sequence. It was all very fun and interesting.
It's very aware of the style of thing that it's being.
And you know what? It's kind of typical Disney, or maybe Disney Pixar, I'm not sure, where the opening sequence is kind of different and separate from the rest of the movie, but
Mhm.
still drives the plot forward. So with Up, for example, it's like Carl and Ellie, or
kills his wife.
Finding Nemo.
Right.
It's right.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen
I
Up?
haven't seen
Ah. It's so sad.
Maybe he's slowly poisoning him. That's even sadder.
it.
Wow.
No one's investigated this.
That's true.
Because he just wants to fly his house with balloons.
He's truly a mad scientist.
She won't let me. I'll show you.
So Thunderbolt, the show, Patch loves the show. He's seen every episode. He's spoiling it for all the 100 other animals. He's like giving it play by play. He knows what's going on. And like, how come he's seen all these things and the other dogs haven't? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
like he's spoiling it for these other dogs. Like,
No,
how come he's seen
I
it?
think he's doing kind of what like, I don't know, those weird theme park nerds do, where they're like, "Ooh,
Actually,
I'm into this," and like I'm able to see where this is going because I'm so into it. Where the other ones, they're just watching it passively,
Yeah, but he knows exactly what it is, and throughout the movie, he like quotes exact like episode numbers, and this is what happened in this, and so the other dogs and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just retains it better, but
Yeah,
he's a big fan of the show.
Yeah, I think it captures really well that the feeling of being so into something, and Jimmy and I think can relate to this, being so into something that we end up kind of ruining it for people.
no,
Could be.
no, guys,
Or enhancing
In
it.
some way, yeah, enhancing for some, but in others ways, it's just like I don't care. I just want to ride Thunder
Don't
Mountain.
care how many gallons of paint
Yeah,
it took.
I don't.
How many gallons of paint?
Depends on the ride and what year it is. Because if it was 2003.
Mhm.
Anyway, so the show ends with Thunderbolt barking to the horizon with a powerful bark, not unlike a lion's roar.
Roar, roar,
Yeah,
roar,
right?
And I love that it appears to be the exact same recording every single
Every
time.
single time. Yes, indeed it is. So, Patch wants to be just like him. So Patch jumps up and he tries to mimic the bark, only to be laughed at and ridiculed for his weak performance. Guys, Patch is misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
He is.
Just like everyone.
It's like, well, except the other 98 puppies. Because they're fine being lemmings, but he's not. As the show ends, Thunderbolt comes back home to be greeted by his owner, who revels. Thunderbolt, you are one of a kind. Patch, who is one out of 101, longs to be one of a kind.
And his siblings are assholes.
Well, yeah, but they're all just they're 101 Dalmatians. Like they're okay with just being
Mhm.
another dog, right?
Criticism of capitalism, I'm telling you.
All right. So just as all the dogs.
Wait a minute. I shouldn't take this bait, but that is.
You shouldn't.
All right.
So, okay, I did try. I don't think it's really there to be seen, but I did try because I have not enjoyed the past couple at all.
Right.
So I kind of thought, okay, at the very least, let me try putting on some kind of lens, so at least I'm not bored out of my mind while I'm also miserable. And so I immediately just went like, well, this is about how capitalism can crush us all and make us all feel this way if we're not careful.
So socialism supports the individual.
It's not a one or the other. It's just it's
checking my watch. Well, I thought about it because Dan intimated via text that he didn't hate the movie, which is Dan speak for "This is great." And so I'm watching it with that lens. I'm watching it like, why does Dan like this movie or not hate it?
Mm-hmm.
And I where I landed was it was the style,
Mm-hmm.
and it's of a time, but it's timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were talking about, it's like jolly old London, but it's a timeless story. It's definitely of a time, of a genre, but there's no specific. And I felt like that was part of it. Like it wasn't jamming anything down
Definitely.
your
And
throat.
I have a lot more about that later. So yeah.
I just wanted to write, or not write, but I wanted to note that I wrote down at this point the whole plot of the movie, basically. I guessed.
You figured it out?
I guessed. I was like, okay, Thunderbolt is, what did I write? He's going to be an a-hole, or the Corgi's the evil one. And I wasn't
both.
wrong on either one of those.
So what I've learned over the course of this show is, because I take meticulous notes, and what I've learned is that nothing happens by accident.
Mhm.
Everything that happens on screen means something.
Oh,
Sometimes the movies happen by accident.
Well, yes, that's but like the whole Thunderbolt thing, I'm watching it. I'm like, should I write anything about this TV show? I'm like, no, because the whole plot's going to revolve around this thing that would otherwise be a throwaway.
Right.
Everything means something because every moment is precious because they're hand drawing most of this.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to hand draw something and it's only 96 minutes or whatever it is, everything means something.
Right. And I even have in my notes, and this is a pro for this movie, but it's also a shot at some other movies we've watched.
If you're playing the drinking game, now you have to finish your drink. So I'm joining it.
We need to reload.
That the first act gives everybody that needs something to do. And
Which is basically just
Patch, also Cruella. So
Sure,
we haven't gotten there in
We have
your
not.
notes yet,
No,
but
because we're only like 2 minutes in.
Yeah, sorry.
but like,
Classic.
but this is this first act does what a first act needs to do. Is it a great movie? No, but it functions as a movie perfectly well
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
So as the show ends, Thunderbolt comes out of all that. So Patch, who's a wondering thing, just as the dogs are heading off to bed and will be getting their new collars tomorrow because they're moving. So you have 99 new collars, maybe 101.
Mhm.
Dang.
And the little
Bitchin'
maid,
one.
whose name is Maid, I think, has this little bag.
I
This
mean,
bag is way too
That was
small.
a joke about a hip hop reference. Keep going.
The bag is
That
way
was
too
a
small for
hip-hop
101 new
reference.
collars. But anyway, that's fine.
Referring to
Well,
I
these
believe-
worlds don't follow the laws of physics.
Yeah, neither
Who
does
did
the Maid.
99 Problems?
The bitch ain't one.
Yeah, who did that?
Jay-Z?
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Hey Google,
Oh,
Hey,
dang
Siri.
it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Well, whatever the answer is, that's the reference that I was
It's
making.
Jay-Z.
It was
Jay-Z.
a reference to
I
Jay-Z.
Googled it.
Thank you for playing along.
Hi there. My name is Michaela and I'm real and cool just like my friend Asher. I'm here to give you a heads up on all the cool and new things happening on the Ears Up podcast network. Those three losers on the Supreme Resort just got back from going to Disneyland and they're going to be comparing notes while they also talk about first aid. It sounds really cool. Sure. Yeah, that's cool. Next up, listen to Ears Up in depth, Ears Up below sea level, and coming soon in September, Ears Up, the waiting pool. Also there are some nerd in the trailer back here who make a podcast about Star Wars. Sometimes they barbecue stuff that I'm pretty sure are squirrels. And I think they mild each other but I don't know what that means. Okay, that's it from the Yuku homeroom. I'm Michaela. Be sure to like and subscribe so you keep up with all of these hot fresh tips. Go Mustangs.
And we're back from our break.
And we're back. So
Thanks
anyway, they're
for
going to
that
hand out
word
the new
from our
tags to because they're moving to the farms, to the Cherry Hill farms. Just as they're doing this, so Patch gets caught by an ad on TV announcing an audition for a one-of-a-kind puppy to be a guest on the Thunderbolt show. Patch is very intrigued because he wants to be one of a kind, not one out of 101, right? He wants to be unique. So this very unique one-of-a-kind puppy dog to be the guest on the Thunderbolt show. And by the way, Thunderbolt is in London.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
you heard
we
that
were gonna
right.
get a better reaction than that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Because, by the way, this movie is set in London. I should have probably prefaced.
There you go.
Which, by the way, Lady and the Tramp isn't, but it feels like it is. That's why I keep conflating these movies. I swear they're the same.
Yeah, it's got that
They're neighbors.
kind of.
They are neighbors.
And by the way, you have the Scottish Terrier comes in later. There's a whole scene that
Lots of
calls back
throwbacks.
to either Lady and the Tramp or the 101 Dalmatians, where they have this like dog call where they call across the whole.
Yeah.
Is that Lady and the Tramp?
That
does
came
that?
from 101
101?
Dalmatians.
Uh,
The dog from
Lady
Little
and the
Mermaid
Tramp.
is also in it. The big floppy gray dog.
Yeah. And by the way, the maid totally looks like Mrs. Potts after she turns back into a lady. Anyway. So Patch is excited to tell his dad about this thing that the Thunderbolt's going to be here. But there's so much going on, and they're moving to Cherry Tree Farm tomorrow. So it's nuts. And Pongo keeps losing track of the dogs. He's trying to count them all as they're going up the stairs. Mom and Dad are excited to go as well, because it'll be a wonderful place to raise the puppies, and it'll be far away from that evil Cruella de Vil.
Isn't smash cut to Cruella
Smash
de
cut to
Vil?
Cruella de Vil.
I was not mad about it. I loved it.
Isn't
Yeah, I
great.
didn't expect her.
but isn't
Same.
going to run on a farm? Isn't that what parents tell kids when the dog's
Yeah.
dying?
So what I think is what happened is this is a mass murder.
They're all drinking some Kool-Aid.
The Pongo and his wife are fed up, and they're going to send all their puppies
Oh, and-
to a farm.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
mass murder.
So Pongo married the human wife?
Yes, that's what
Then
happened.
why didn't they just let her make her coat anyway? If they were all going to
That's true.
commit
If they're
suicide.
no, not suicide. It's homicide. This is a mass murder.
My bad.
They're going up the stairs, and then on the other side is just an open window, like 4 stories up. And they just, go ahead.
Just the maid whapping him on the head with a frying.
And she's got a little meat grinder at the bottom.
Yeah.
Jeez. Hopefully PETA doesn't listen to this.
Oh, they're a number one listener.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Welcome back.
And we're back. So we cut to Cruella, who's trying to get she's trying to get into the fur store,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
But the terms of her
Like an
parole
addict.
probation forbid her to get any forget her to get any of the furs, and the store owner finally kicks her out.
There's a special line of coverage for fur stores, Furriers and Bailey's coverage, which covers the property of others under your care, custody, and control.
For furries?
Furriers.
I'm interested.
no, and so
11-year-old furries.
oh, Jesus.
That's gross, Audrey. She was 12. Anyway.
So the cynical part of me was like, oh, of course it's Cruella de Vil, but then I hadn't really recognized how fun this character is
She's
until this movie.
Great.
She's more fun in this movie.
Is she?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think she's more fun.
She comes across very evil and scary in the first
In the
one.
first one, she's evil and scary. This one, she's a lot more fun, a little borderline crazy.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the nut house at the end.
Yeah.
They must have made this movie after the live action ones with Glenn Close.
That makes sense.
2003.
Because Glenn Close, I think, has the best performance of Cruella de Vil.
Until Emma Stone. By the way, no spoilers because none of us have seen it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
don't spoil the
doubtful.
movie that you
101
haven't seen.
Dalmatians, Glenn Close, 1996.
Yeah.
Okay.
102 Dalmatians, 2000. I have this list handy because, spoiler warning, listening to Scraping the Vault, you may hear that we will do a series on the live action remakes of these animated classics.
Leave a comment down below.
Leave a
in the
comment down
comments.
below.
Or
Like
just
and
call in.
subscribe.
You just call in,
Yeah.
smash that like.
What's
hit the
that?
bell.
Smash it.
A caller?
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Asher.
Hello?
You're on the air.
Can I hear another commercial, please?
You got it.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Amy Grant. Yeah, it's really me. I just wanted to say that PETA is great. So don't do bad things to animals. Animals are pretty cool. If you were an animal and an animal were a person, would you like it if the animal person did a bad thing to you? I didn't think so. Animals are people too. Except also they are mostly animals. But also humans in their throbbing animal hearts. Okay, bye.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
Kermie.
I'm going to hang up now.
Hey.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting another phone call. Oh, it's Asher. I'll talk to him later.
He likes you. He calls you a lot.
Yeah.
I have this effect on fictional boys.
Fictional.
I mean,
He's
very
real.
real
He's
and
real.
totally
He's
real,
so cool.
tangible human being.
But yeah, so
And he's 12. That's gross.
he's 10.
Oh, sorry. I feel like this bit's been 2 years.
It kind of has been. But yeah, so as soon as they introduced this idea, part of her probation is she can't buy more furs. And she talks about like she's just this insane eccentric person who has a very strong evil streak. And I was immediately at that moment, I was just like, okay, I'm okay liking this movie because this is wonderful. There's an insane person and she's just this crazy rich lady.
I love that she came back.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah. Where'd she
why
get her money, by
reinvent the
way?
wheel?
I have no idea. Don't trip because you've been tripping several times when you do that.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Well-
Wait, can you grab me another one too, please?
Hello. I'm a real French person here to talk to you about kissing and soufflet. There is nothing that we French people love more than these things. The next time you are feeling horny and want to kiss a baguette or a soufflet, be sure to use Mout condom. Mout condom, because it is French. And so ami. Merci.
And we're back.
That's the sound of a Diet Coke and not a beer.
It's all right. Our
That's right,
listeners know.
kids.
12-year-old kids. Cruella.
My
So
goodness.
Cruella's down on her luck, though, right?
This podcast includes depictions of alcohol and smoking.
And underage.
Just,
Rated PG-13. At least PG-13.
Jason, if you're listening, I
PG-12.
tried. Okay.
Yeah, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And no, he's not listening. So Cruella's down on her luck. So she's sobbing away from the store in her broken down old car. She laments that things couldn't get any worse.
And they do.
Poor thing.
And they do.
So good.
And she has nothing to live for. She happens upon an art gallery where she sees a painting with one black spot in an otherwise all-white canvas.
Kind of like a Mondrain, but with spots.
But it
Mhm.
reminds her of something.
Mhm. A cow.
The artist
What could
approaches
it be?
her. So she goes in. The artist approaches her and asks what she sees. The artist is Martin Short, who's doing his best Franck impression from Princess Bride. He's doing Franck. Anyway, so
the father of the bride.
Father of the Bride. That's what I meant.
Uh-huh.
Father of the Bride, Franck. By the way, at Disney World, there is a wedding pavilion where you can get married.
Yes.
And the you appreciate this because you're in the teeth
Right.
bridal
Wedding
business.
teeth styling.
Teeth styling business for weddings. They have a wedding planning pavilion just outside of the chapel, and it's called Franck's.
Franck's Wedding Planning Pavilion.
Named after the character from The Father of the Bride, played by Martin Short, who is reprising that role
Mhm.
in this movie.
Oh, great.
So she effectively gives Rey's speech from The Last Jedi. What she sees is like there's light and there's darkness. And I swear to God, it's like word for
You're
word
right.
Rey's speech from The Last Jedi.
Wouldn't that be
Balance.
amazing if Ryan Johnson was like, yeah, I just grabbed it from 101 Dalmatians too, because I figured no one.
But seriously, it's like light and darkness and life and death.
Balance. Whoa.
See?
Dum, da, 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 da.
I felt you through the
Hello,
force.
I am Darth Vader. Please.
You should do your voice.
Hello! It's me, Darth Vader.
There it is.
Darth, what are you doing
I'm
here?
here to sell tires.
Are those Goodyear or Michelin?
Oh, they're Michelin. And here's my good friend, the Michelin man.
He's just a stormtrooper.
the suit like doesn't fit.
Yeah, so what I thought was weird is that, like, and then so she's talking about this painting of just a black spot on a white canvas. She's doing this whole like force thing, and then she's like, she sees darkness, and then the artist is like, "You went straight to the dark. I've seen this power once before, and it didn't."
Yes.
Sorry,
And then Kylo Ren takes his shirt off,
Takes his shirt off.
which
So,
I
can't you put
like.
a
Hey,
towel on?
ladies, he does a little dance.
His stupid high-waisted pants.
They're
but-
dumb.
Oh my
but
gosh.
he's McSteamy.
So cute.
Yeah, so super cute.
I love this pairing between Cruella
And
and
the artist,
Yes.
his name is Lars.
and Lars. I think it's very cute. Also was getting a lot of like Studio Ghibli style animation in her facial expressions and the way they animated her eyes. I don't know. I thought I did anyone else see that? Was
I
it
don't
cool?
think I did.
It was
but
cool.
I thought
Well,
about
she also watches better movies.
that's true. She's much more cultured.
You sure about that?
No, I'm positive.
Like Evil Dead the musical.
Ah, I don't know if it's a movie yet.
So
But one
Should
day.
be.
I did notice that the Cruella's smoking the whole time out of
Mhm.
her thing, but the smoke is all green.
Green and glowing.
And that's definitely a choice. And I assume that it's because green kind of sickly looking.
It's like
so-
toxic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not glorifying the smoking. It's kind of,
Yeah,
and she lights a painting on fire later.
but she's great. I love her.
Very good.
I love her. She's just insane.
Yes, good villain. Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like she's just your villain's the devil. It's
It's in the name.
fantastic.
I dressed up as a Cruella DeVille zombie for a zombie walk years ago because it was a Disney theme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every 4th of July in Seattle, in Fremont, which is a really cool neighborhood, they did the red, white, and dead zombie walk, and people would show up dressed as zombies, and then you'd walk in a big parade, like a few blocks around. And I was particularly proud of this particular zombie costume because I had like the hair,
Oh,
I
she's
did
putting
like
her
the
hands
black
over
and
her
the white
face.
hair, and then I had like a really ugly fur coat thrifted, and then I had a bag made out of puppies.
Oh, God. Actual.
And my eyes are closed because I put spiders. I like painted my eye holes black so it looked like my eyes had been sunken in and kind of like dug out and filled
yeah.
with dirt. So much fun. So
Audrey's
much
a
fun.
very good artist, makeup artist.
Mhm.
Zombies are fun.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
anyway, to your
Long
point,
tangent.
Cruella and the artist have this instant connection. All of his art seems to be Dalmatian spot inspired, right?
I wonder what got him on this trend, like did he go through a stripes period?
Maybe he
Hmm.
started with fruit. And there's a whole purple phase or a blue phase.
Yeah.
When was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
so they're all spot inspired, which is exactly what Cruella needs to satisfy her craving.
Right. And I like how this is also kind of a loose indictment of like the art world and how like up everyone's ass everyone is.
Yeah. That whole like muse artist relationship too is kind of interesting.
It's
Yeah.
I and again I don't know how aggressively critical it's being of these things, but I love that it's being critical of these things.
Which is interesting angle for Cruella's villain to go on.
It makes perfect sense too.
Yeah.
This movie is self-referential a lot,
Right.
too, which I really liked. And I figured you'd appreciate that because it's sort of, I mean, I know that Thunderbolt kind of points at, this sort of made for TV sequel thing. It's self-referential. So there's a line that Cruella gives. So that there instantly there's a connection. He wants her to be his muse. She's thinking like, I need to get past this thing, and maybe this art is what I need to satisfy this craving for fur. And she says this line. So he's like, he wonders what could have cast a shadow on this flower. And she says, "Oh, it's a sad but familiar tale about loss and disappointment, probation, and a restraining order."
Yeah, and I like the idea that they introduce the
Familiar
possibility
tale.
that the future of this character is that
She just needs art.
drawn to just like weird, needless things that are just expensive and dumb.
She's an eccentric
Yeah.
with, disregard for puppy lives.
Right.
But what I liked, and we won't get to it yet, but what I liked about it is that maybe she's not evil, maybe she's just eccentric, and this art could satisfy whatever this crazy animal fur craving is.
Yeah.
Which I really liked, because maybe she's not evil after all. She's just eccentric. And then it takes a hard turn later.
Yeah, she's definitely evil.
Yeah, I know.
It's in her name.
Which makes it even better, because it's just like, oh, good. This is not a redeemable character.
No.
She just wants to skin puppies.
Spoiler warning.
So funny.
To use him as canvas for art. So she asks Lars to create a painting just for her. He accepts if she will be his muse. We cut to the Dalmatians' house.
Quick question.
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am.
you've seen the musical 9, right?
Yes.
That's cool.
And we're back.
That's a movie.
And we're back.
That's a musical about the artist
Yeah.
muse thing. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite musical numbers. Can't think of it now, but anyway.
Would that
It's his
number
song.
be
It's his
9?
what's it called?
See, I did it again.
It's so
Making
good.
all
It's
these
just it articulates the
references.
character. It sums him up so well.
That one wasn't Jay-Z.
I'll
That
find
was a
it.
musical. The one that they're talking
Anyway,
about.
so we're back to the Dalmatians' house. They're all sleeping soundly. This is the night before they move. Everybody's
Dog
sleeping except for
pile.
Patch.
They're all so cute.
They are very cute. Patch is the only one not awake. He's awake. He's thinking about Thunderbolt in London. He's really excited. Can't sleep.
Mhm.
And so much so, he's a different color from all the rest of them. He's white. They're all gray.
Huh.
If you notice this in this scene.
I
to
don't
set 'em
remember
apart.
that,
Hmm.
but yeah, I can see that happening. Where
Yeah.
it's like, this is the background. This is not the background.
Exactly. And it's
Right.
100% background art versus so he wants to be one of a kind, not one out of 101.
Which reminds me, I'm pretty sure we will never get to the Black Cauldron, but there's a really fun thing if you ever watch that movie. As they're navigating through the castle, and like people seem to know where to go,
Mhm.
and like there's a question of, well, how do you know which one to go to? And it's like, go to this one, it's colored differently. That means it will move.
Call it right out.
So Patch is colored differently, which means he'll move.
It's important.
That's true. Sorry, I was trying to find that song from 9. I love it. Anyway, so he's awake, and there's a brand of kibble, like dog food, that's got Thunderbolt's likeness on it, which comes up a lot. There's a like a car, like an ice cream truck that's got the dog food on it and Thunderbolt's picture on it. That comes up a lot. Anyway, so Patch couldn't sleep. He finally finds a little empty bag of the kibble, and he climbs into it and
Poor
falls asleep.
thing. He's alone.
Yeah. The next day is moving day. Patch wakes up to hear the commotion of moving, but he gets left behind.
Mhm.
Patch.
And it's at this moment that I start to wonder, oh no, is this going to be Home Alone?
Oh.
Oh,
Unfortunately, it doesn't
that
get
could
that
have
good.
also
Yeah.
worked.
So Patch gets left behind, which interesting. So Pongo, a running thing is he keeps losing count of all the puppies. There's 99 of them. He keeps losing count. So Patch laments.
Doofy husband trope.
Totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Patch laments that they won't even miss him. He can't get out the window. Like he's like, they're like, hey, I'm here. And they're all driving away. He can't get out. But then a dog food truck, the one that has Thunderbolt's logo on the side, the little ice cream truck for dogs, comes through and then he's like, and I won't miss them. And then suddenly he's able to get through the window. He's able to squeeze through the window for the
Yeah.
doggy truck, but not for his family.
He was
He's very
trying
food
hard.
motivated.
Yeah, maybe. But I think the point is maybe he doesn't want
We
to
have that
find his
problem.
family. Maybe this motivation of finding his way to Thunderbolt was enough motivation to get out the window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Anyway, so cut to the farm and the family. The dogs are free to chase and frolic.
They're not dead. That was
They're
a
not
joke,
dead.
everybody.
Well, we don't know.
It's almost perfectly idyllic out there.
That's true. This house is more than a fixer-upper, though. Like
Yeah.
the piano falls through the
That-
floor.
Really got me. That was funny. Good guy.
And that's basically where that whole bit ended. Like the piano falls through the floor. That's the last they talk about the house. Like that's it.
Yeah. It was really disconnected from the rest of the story.
Right. And that's why it lasted 4 seconds, and we cut back to London.
Yeah.
And now they're the Thunderbolt live show. Jason Alexander's back as Thunderbolt's trusty sidekick,
I
Little Lightning.
Did not enjoy this casting.
No,
No.
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 He
not at all.
doesn't pull it off.
No, he
for
does
me.
not. And there's not enough substance. It's a trope, and we've seen it, but he doesn't bring enough nuance to it, or it's not written well enough. But several dogs auditioned to be on the show. Patch's audition is less than impressive, but he made the front page of the newspaper. He's a photographer there. He made the front page. I don't know if that'll come up later, but
I don't know either.
As I mentioned earlier, everything that happens in these movies.
I just hope that if it does, it doesn't turn into a thing that goes on and on and on in a way that makes you want to strangle
this is one of those moments
and everybody in the movie.
A very similar thing where if this one thing happened or this person just said this one thing, it would resolve all conflict. Right. This happens with the newspaper. Like if you just look at the newspaper, all conflict is resolved.
But I have to say, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead in your notes. Okay.
Apology not accepted.
Well, I mean, we could go back,
no,
but like,
and I will.
Yeah, and you should. I have to say that the bit plays out for exactly as long as it should, and then they get rid of it
immediately.
And I was like, is this possibly not a terrible movie?
Yeah.
Jimmy gets very emotional when we talk about it.
I feel like the first 3 quarters of this movie are a really good build-up.
Yeah.
And then the last quarter just like happens. It's just,
yeah.
It executes way too fast.
Yeah, the length problem comes in like all of these sequels.
Right.
But
I disagree. I think it feels that way because not a lot of it is earned emotionally.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I think the pacing was okay. I just think that the things they set up for the resolution weren't really that important.
Right. Yeah.
So, because we're spoiling it now, Thunderbolt cares just about himself and his fame, and he's paired up with Patches, and it doesn't really make sense for the two of them to be working together because they don't feel that emotionally invested in one another.
Yeah.
And they don't build that up as much as they could have.
Well, they basically
Patch idolizes Thunderbolt, though.
Well, they're put in a position that they can definitely help each other get what they each want.
Yes, but in
not
either case,
in
it doesn't feel that
emotionally connected way.
Yeah, and it honestly doesn't feel that important. Like the real important thing is Corella's gonna kill puppies to make a coat. Like whereas this kid over here is worried about impressing his idol. But like the idol is also just
it's a false
self-important.
Idol. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's an old trope. It's the actor and the kid or the kid who's idolizing him thinks that he's really that thing, and he's not really that thing. He's just an actor, and then he's got a redemption. It's all the thing you wrote in your notes 20 minutes ago. But at this point, Patch is dejected, left alone once again. He's on stage. We cut to Thunderbolt's trailer, and of course, similar to the character in Hunchback 2, his trailer's covered in pictures of himself. He's got like little icons of himself. So there's some thirsty dogs. One's tall and skinny, one's short and fat, etc.
You've seen made for video sequels.
You've seen all. It's all the same characters, but these happen to be dogs. Not in a sexy way, Dan.
Look.
The lady dog protect too much.
So Little Lightning is another character. That's a sidekick. Little Lightning, played by Jason Alexander, comes in to tell Thunderbolt that in the very next episode, Thunderbolt dies. And he's being written out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than being concerned, Thunderbolt is thrilled to have a chance to act the role of his lifetime. But it turns out he's being written out of the show. And so in order to save his career, Thunderbolt decides to do something heroic in real life.
Makes perfect sense.
So he sneaks out of his trailer and he runs into Patch, who is starstruck by Thunderbolt. Turns out Thunderbolt is kind of a phony who's only brave on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He decides
just
to
like
use...
that Bob Barker.
Just like Bob Barker, have your pet spayed and neutered.
Did you guys see the movie Bolt?
Yes, I thought about that movie the whole time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Very similar. Thunderbolt, Bolt, actor dog. And he's chasing after his owner who loves him, but he only loves him on TV. Penny.
Yeah.
It's a very similar story.
Yeah.
Anyway, go don't see Bolt.
Close
enough. John Travolta. Scientology's a fake. Sorry.
Socialism is evil.
If you're a lawyer for Scientology, please know that this is a comedy podcast.
It does not necessarily reflect the thoughts and opinions of Ears Up.
Of Ears Up Podcast Network. Jason Petros. Jason at Ears Up Podcast.
Please contact Jason's lawyer.
Yes.
We do not have any lawyers.
The name is Asher.
Asher's a lawyer.
10-year-old lawyer.
Oh, I think now is a good time for an ad for Asher's Law Firm.
Hey, it's me, Asher. Have you or a loved one been punched in the nards by a bully? Did you have a sweet skateboard move stolen by a poser? Is your uncle making you work for free on a podcast? If so, give the law offices of Asher, Michaela, and CJ a call. We're 3 cool kids who are real. We're also lawyers in several developing countries and some states south of the Mason-Dixon line. We've helped a buttload of people sue for all sorts of stuff that is cool and real like us. Stuff like purple stuff injuries, the game cheating, mom and dad always being too busy, teachers looking at you weird, cooties and tap representation, and of course, copyright law. Call us today at 856-OUR-EARS and ask to speak to the coolest and realest lawyers around. That's us. Just make sure and call after 4 p.m. because CJ has soccer practice. Si habla español.
And we're back. So,
what have I done?
So Thunderbolt decides to use Patch, who knows everything about the show, right? Anything he's ever done. So he decides to use him to help recreate his heroics in the real world.
The gag that the little pattern that they choose where it's like, did I run, jump, and tumble? Or did I tumble, sneak, and bark?
And jump or run and yeah.
That was clever.
That
was clever writing.
No, you jumped, then you tumbled, then you ran.
Oh, got it. Bark, bark, bark.
Yeah, totally.
Can you put a little echo on the end of that last bark, bark, bark.
We cut to Cruella, who's admiring Lars's new artwork, but she thinks it is not soft and cuddly enough.
What a great montage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. So she inspires Lars to do his best work of his life. Back to Patch and Thunderbolt. He is now Thunderbolt's new deputy. There's a montage of Thunderbolt having mishaps while Lars paints new canvases for Cruella.
Great.
One of those is, of course, the Mickey head.
That's right.
There's a hidden Mickey. It's not so hidden.
And the Thunderbolt adventure thing, it's this great thing where he's like, just misreading every possible situation.
Right. Yeah. He thinks that there's a runaway horse and it's a bridal couple that just got married. And he like takes over the horse and the bridal couple ends up in the water.
Right.
Sprinkler goes off. I don't know.
It's good luck on a wedding day to get wet, from rain.
Sure.
Or
sprinklers.
Or be tossed from a carriage into a pond.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So montage is over. Patch discovers that Thunderbolt is kind of a phony. He doesn't actually do the hero stuff in real life. So then we're back to the set of Thunderbolt. Turns out, Little Lightning lied to Thunderbolt. He is not being written out of the show, after all. Rather, Little Lightning wants the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to run off like Thunderbolt.
And I think I've never experienced the second thing I'm going to say, but I think that hearing Jason Alexander do a villain role is something close to like seeing your parents have sex.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's just like,
I feel like Jason Alexander's always the villain, even when he's not. Like, remember Pretty Woman? He's kind of the villain in that movie a little bit.
Yeah. Why does it work in that movie and like Shallow Hal?
Yeah.
Versus this one?
I think in those situations, he's playing, and I'm doing air quotes here, that guy. It's like that person where you're like,
not really a villain, just kind of a dick.
Yeah,
I think it's an unintentional dick versus this guy's a intentional dick.
Right. That's it. He usually plays characters that like
they're not as smart as this.
Right. They're clueless. They're just kind of like, what? It's just who I am. What?
Yeah.
Why are you offended? You know, like.
Because I think even in Seinfeld, he's kind of a villain. Like, in a way, for me, he's just like, he's not a good guy. He's kind of an ass.
Yeah.
He's an ass, but.
And Kramer's super racist.
I don't feel like it comes across as an intelligent ass. Like, I'm doing this to purposefully antagonize somebody. It's just, this is again,
He's-
what am I doing?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
He's a bull, and everyone else is trying to shop.
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
he's Larry David in that movie or in that show. I think.
Curb
Anyway.
Your Enthusiasm.
No, I think Jason Alexander is Larry David in Seinfeld. Like, I think he's playing Larry David.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I never really saw it. Anyway, so we go back to Cruella. She needs inspiration because she doesn't think that Lars is doing good work. So she decides to go find the 101 Dalmatians house. Like, she wants to go to
She's
their house for
relapsed
inspiration.
completely.
Yeah, no, she says a little restraining order won't stop her. But when she
Lasts like 2
arrives, she
weeks.
finds they have moved. But where?
Yeah.
Just then, hey, remember earlier when Patch was on the cover of the newspaper?
Mhm.
It gets thrown in her face.
I can't tell if you just winked at me or if it was because the sun's in your
Probably
eye.
both.
Okay.
So the newspaper gets thrown in her face, and there's Patch, and she takes out her binoculars that she had in her pocket to look at the patch.
Her opera binoculars.
Opera binoculars.
I love this character
It looks-
so much.
And
Enhanced.
it sees the new tag that got put on Patch and shows Cherry Hill Farm.
Yeah.
So now she knows where they all moved. Thank God for that
We've all been there in our lives, right? Where we see a picture and we like zoom in just a little bit and
Yeah.
we're like, yes, I've sleuthed. Right?
Have you tried to
It's
do
so
that with an
satisfying.
actual paper or whatever? Like, you're trying to look at it, you try to zoom in on an actual. I've
Hey,
done it.
reading insurance applications,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like digging at, you're like, I can't understand how this person writes their letter G. Let me just look at a different part of
Yeah.
this application. And you kind of, you do some sleuthing and then you realize, oh, it wasn't a G. It was a different letter the whole time.
Or like when you get silly putty.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Then you can zoom.
All right.
Take the silly putty, put it on the paper,
Yeah.
and then you can zoom in.
Zoom.
That's
Okay,
the old
honey
school.
Graham.
Okay, boomer. Yeah. So that. so then
you're 1/3 of a s'mores over there.
That's right.
that sounds like an insult. Like, you're 1/3 of a s'more.
It is an insult. That was
Oh.
what I was intending.
I was insulting him.
Duh. Like, you're two cards short of a deck or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're 1/3 of a s'more. That's
For those of you watching at home,
funny. Watching.
Dan
Dan's
is
got
wearing a
graham
shirt
cracker
with
shirt.
graham crackers on
We
it.
should just put it on Instagram.
I think it's great.
So anyway, she sees the address. We cut to that address, which is the farm, and that same newspaper gets tossed around and overlooked. That's what we were talking about before. This
Mhm.
newspaper, had they just looked at the front page, it would
Mhm.
have seen Patch, who, by the way, they have not noticed he's not there
No.
at all.
Oh,
No.
sad.
Nor do they ever acknowledge it.
They should have accountability buddies. Like
Totally. There's 99.
yeah, you should.
So
be
Patch is the odd
responsible.
one out.
Mhm.
He's number 99, I guess.
Just have a group of 3, or make them all 3s. Is
So-
99 divisible by 3?
Yeah,
Yes.
by 3. It's 33.
Okay, great.
33
And since we're doing
groups.
math, Patch is 0.9%. No, I got my calculator out earlier for that.
So Patch and Thunderbolt are bonding.
so you can revoke the claps because I got my calculator
Okay.
out earlier.
I stand by the claps. So Patch and Thunderbolt are bonding. We're back to the farm. The dogs are creating havoc. They're chasing chickens and frogs and stuff. The newspaper, that same one with Patch on the front, it happens upon Jim Deere or whatever his name is, Roger. They're
Roger
off.
Deere.
They're off to London to save Patch before Cruella
Copy
gets
that.
her hands on him. So the paper finally comes across Roger on this piano. Oh, there's Patch. We didn't realize he was gone, but let's go find him. So they go to London because they don't want Cruella to get her hands on him. We cut to Horace and Jasper, who are the bad guys.
The
in
henchmen.
The henchmen in the first movie. This is the first time we've seen them. This is like 2/3 of the way into the movie.
They look. I didn't realize they had the exact same face shape, just different.
Well, they are brothers,
Bodies.
right?
They're brothers, yeah.
Are they twins?
Yeah, they talk about mom and dad, and they might be twins, but one's definitely taller and thinner than the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Horace and Jasper, they're suddenly bailed out by Cruella, who says it is time to finish the job. And Jasper says he won't be made a fool of this time. And then we cut to him dressed up as a blonde in a pink dress.
Amazing.
You don't
Amazing.
do that.
They went there in this movie. I couldn't believe it.
They did.
Like when's the last time we had cross dressing in a Disney Scraping the Vault sequel?
Everyone? I don't know.
It feels like it. No,
Okay.
it's
Jason
been a while.
Alexander had to have in the Hunchback too.
Oh, yeah,
probably.
they did.
Probably.
to
They
have.
probably put him in a dress.
Because he falls in love with the pig or the goat.
The goat.
Yeah. Anyway. So he sticks out his sweet, sweet gams to stop the food truck, the dog
Yeehaw.
food truck, steals the truck, and speeds away.
I feel like that character, and this is not me putting thought into it, it's just a feeling at the moment, is what David Byrne would look like if he were to dress up as a lady.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I could see David Byrne pulling off a dress quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
would he have the sweet, sweet gams like this guy?
They'd probably be hairy.
Yeah.
But
his
I'm okay
weren't,
with that.
Oddly. And the truck driver's like, wowza. And then
Awooga.
Awooga. And then the guy, and then Horace or Jasper, whichever one it was, he's got a wig on. He comes to the thing and he's like, the truck driver tries to be nice, but clearly is an ugly woman. Anyway, so they steal the truck and they drive up to the farm and they make it to the farm. All the puppies are sleeping. And like an ice cream truck, they turn on the little song to lure the puppies into the Canine Crunchies truck. It's called the Canine Crunchies.
Yeah, and this is the first moment in this movie where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but the rest of the movie leading up to this got enough goodwill going where I'm like, okay, movie.
All right,
I'll let you
buy
have
it.
this.
Well, so this is my point. Like Cruella, a fun character. Maybe she's not so evil, and the artist, and that relationship, and the patch, and the thing, and then all of a sudden, like the last third of the movie, just like just shoehorns this thing and adds these characters in, and they go from jail to stealing puppies in like 90 seconds of screen time. Like it
is pretty quick.
It's a bit
fast.
much.
I
Yeah.
liked this. I will say I loved the smash cut to the guy in the dress.
That was
just
funny.
like the smash
Yeah.
cut to
You're not going to
Cruella
make us.
earlier.
You're not going to make a fool out of us this time in a dress and blonde wig.
No, we all saw that coming. I had a problem at some point in the movie. They just started talking way too much. There was way too much exposition. I think because there were two sets of villains.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Whereas
three
they could-
almost. You
Who would be the
Cruella
third?
and the. I think Cruella's a villain, kind of, and then the Jasper and Horace kind of acted on their own accord in some way, and then you've got Jason Alexander.
I think it's fair to just put Jason and
yeah.
Horace. Jason?
No,
Jason.
Horace and Jasper with Cruella. You can lump them as a villain.
But
I guess.
their
two of
their
them-
other brother is Jason from the Friday the 13th movies.
Okay, Jason,
Also from Arizona.
Horace, and Jasper. They fall under the Cruella category.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So the maid comes out to try to beat him over the head with a frying pan. Succeeds, but there's a lot of chaos, and they end up trapping the maid somehow.
They put her in the well.
Yeah.
How
Yeah, that's
I don't know how that
freaking-
That's very sinister.
so dark. She could have. Did you guys watch The Ring? Because I did.
Yeah,
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Scary,
the Ring, too.
scary movie.
I even watched Ringu.
Oh.
The original Japanese.
Nani? Sorry, I just wanted to live my anime fantasy for a second.
I'd like to see it.
In my anime fantasy.
So they
Let's fighting love.
so they get all the puppies and they bring them to Lars's art studio. She steals them not to make coats out of them. This is what I thought. I'm thinking like, well, she doesn't want to do anything with the puppies. She just wants to inspire Lars to do new art.
right.
Like she's not evil.
Yeah.
And I had to delete my sentence because no, she wants to use their skin. She wants to use the puppy's skin
Yeah.
as canvas for his art.
Yeah, right.
Which is interesting. You know, she's evolved from coats and fashion to
using puppy skins for
traditional
art.
portraiture gallery art
Well,
stuff.
I love it. It's such a like improv move, like character move too, to have it be like, oh well, I'm gonna go in this other direct. I'm gonna do art, and then it's gonna be inspired by the puppies. No, it's just I just need to kill puppies to
Yeah.
do whatever it is that I'm into. That's ultimately my thing. Is I'm just
Right.
into skinning dogs.
So, and here's what I loved and hated about that.
She in the third movie she decides to open a restaurant
right.
and serve Dalmatian soup because it has to kill
Exactly.
dogs.
Or she,
I can't
furniture
express
store.
my true palate, you know, my my palate desires
Yeah.
and wants without cooking with Dalmatian puppy
Right.
meat.
It's 100% about this like secondary or tertiary thing about the thing.
Yeah.
Well, but here's what I loved and hated about it, because she's like, she wants to skin the puppies to make art out of their skin. And Lars refuses, right? He says,
Good
no,
for
he's not going to do
Lars.
it. So then she like ties him up and tortures him, throws knives at
Whoa,
him.
racy.
But
It works for them.
So she says,
Right.
so she ties Lars up. She says, if she can't have Dalmatian masterpiece, at least she'll finally have a Dalmatian coat. Like she hasn't changed at all.
Yeah,
like I want her to change so bad. She's like,
know,
well, if I
I
can't get
know.
the art, I'll just
I
make
know.
the
She's
coat I
too
always
evil.
wanted.
She's
Yeah,
too
no,
evil
I
to change.
love the singular focus.
That's why that one made her so
Yeah.
iconic in the first place. You
Like-
know, that's why
She's myopic, I
really,
guess.
really-
But
All right, we've been on this journey, and it's just
at
like,
least I can get my coat.
nope. I just want the coat.
All right, fuck it.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we cut out for a walk. A Scottish Terrier who looks like the one from Lady and the Tramp,
It
which
is.
is why
Let's just say
I
it
can't
is.
tell the difference between these movies. Smells the puppies, and then she starts that little barking call that spreads through the city. We kind of alluded to before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alerts everybody. Finally gets to Thunderbolt and Patch, and just as Thunderbolt was about to confess that he's a phony, he finds this as a chance to be the hero that everybody thinks he is. So the thirsty fans, the dogs, are chatting about this news about the dog, about the puppies, as they walk past Little Lightning's trailer.
Mhm.
So he overhears it. He's like, oh no, he
Yeah.
can't let Thunderbolt be the hero. So he goes to try to stop it.
He's gonna steal my thunder.
That's right, Thunderbolt.
Again.
Just as Thunderbolt and Patch are about to spoil the plan, Cruella knocks out Thunderbolt and they all get imprisoned. All the dogs, the 99 Dalmatians and Thunderbolt.
I think they're gonna need more than 5 cages for 99 dogs.
It's
There
it-
was some sketchy artist math on this one.
Things-
It's like
So 90
painting 4 fingers
Things
to
do
save money.
start
20.
kind of falling apart
Yeah.
a little bit.
20 puppies per cage.
Maybe 20.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think maybe they only animated 20 puppies total.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, and it is possible, according to the rest of this movie, it is possible that Thunderbolt is dead.
Yeah, they did. They
Yeah.
led up to that.
That's true.
The way they frame it, the silence afterwards, and
Yeah, like we just had this big reveal of like, no, Cruella de Vil is actually just pure evil,
Mhm.
and then she whacks the puppy. We don't see it happen. It's a cutaway to Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
I really like. I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I was just like, did they actually kill the dog? Did they? It's actually possible
yeah,
in this movie.
they let you think that for 2 seconds,
Right,
and
right.
then
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
But it's that feeling is credible in this movie.
It
Yeah.
could have happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because her whole purpose in life is kill these dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
totally
Right.
So, and this is not necessarily a dog we care about, so I could see where
Totally.
this dog's just dead.
Yeah.
But he's not. Anyway, so Little Lightning comes in, tells Scamp, Patch Tramp Jr.
Lassie.
tells Patch that Thunderbolt's a fake, he's just an actor, and he confesses that there was never a plan to replace Thunderbolt, but Thunderbolt's in a cage, so what's he going to do about it?
I just wanted to bring up anime really quickly again. There's a show called Mob 100, which is done by the same studio that did One Punch Man. Both of those shows are really funny and amazing and cool. In Mob 100, it's the story of this like high school kid with incredibly strong psychic powers
Mhm.
who teams up with this middle-aged guy who offers kind of hokey psychic powers for people, like, I'm gonna clear the demons out of your office space, but he's a total sham. The reason it works in that show versus this relationship in this movie is that in the show, the guy who runs the psychic office, the older guy, he really doubles down on the fact that he thinks he has real psychic powers, and he comes across really haughty and has this really funny attitude, whereas the kid is incredibly humble about it. And I would say Patches is pretty humble about his knowledge of Thunder's skills and stuff. I think it would have been funnier and more interesting if Thunderbolt was more committed to
Double
being
down on it.
a total butthole.
Yeah.
Which would have given the corgi a little extra reason to be so
Little
conniving.
lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's
But
a good
they,
point.
they try to paint Thunderbolt as a sympathetic character, and he's really
Which he doesn't need
He's
to be,
not.
does he?
no actors.
No.
Actors are stupid.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I think that might be part of the falling apart. Honestly, I feel generally very positive about this movie. So there's not,
Same.
but I think you're right. I think it could have been a stronger movie because we didn't need another sympathetic character in Thunderbolt, and it absolutely would have made things make more sense.
Yeah, I think it would have been funnier that way.
Yeah.
My 2 cents.
And we're back.
We're back.
No, I don't know any of the words you said, but it makes a lot of sense what you're explaining.
Her love of anime gives us credibility to go with this. It's good. Good job. It's good.
But you make a valid point, and I think you're right.
You're
This doesn't
welcome.
need to be a sympathetic character. He should have doubled down on being an ass. And
Yeah, because then if he had really at some point come around and said, "Oh, I was being a jerk,"
Mhm.
then it would have felt a little more real versus he was innocent in his pursuit of fame.
Yeah.
there's redemption for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, Little Lightning tells him that he wasn't going to be written on the show. He's a fraud, and so Thunderbolt is dejected, and he feels ashamed about the fact that he was trying to be something he isn't to this little kid who idolizes him. Right.
Yeah.
So at this point, Thunderbolt confesses he's just an actor. Patch is devastated because he doesn't understand how TV works. I guess because he's a dog.
Yeah.
All
Dogs are
seems
stupid.
lost. Yeah, dogs and actors are stupid. Hey,
Think about it.
Finn.
They're just standing around putting silly outfits on, pretending to be something that they're not.
Yeah.
Like zombies
That's
with
their
spiders.
job.
in
That's
their
all
eyes.
dogs do. They just put on
Jimmy.
So Patch is devastated about this, right? And all seems lost. Just then, the other dogs remind Patch of a similar situation in episode 18, where Thunderbolt escaped a similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
So Patch springs to action, recreating the scene from that show, and he frees all the other dogs except Thunderbolt, who's ashamed, doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, Thunderbolt's pretty depressed at this point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Patch uses his
Starts
knowledge.
resorting to pills.
Oh my gosh, that was a really dark
They're
5 minutes.
really, really
Oh my
dark.
God.
The
Wish I could get that time back.
the whole chase scene in and out of the canvases,
Mhm.
so German expressionist. Am I
Totally.
right, guys?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
cool. I
Totally,
was
yeah,
thinking
100%
like
right.
Nosferatu with the
Everything you
lighting,
say,
black
everything
and
you
white.
say.
Yeah.
All right.
Anime, German.
No, I know these things too. I just don't. No, it's good. You're right.
Now a word from our sponsors.
And here's an ad for abstract expressionism.
Hello. I am a very intelligent art person. I am here to tell you about abstract expressionism. So listen up, dum-dum. Abstract expressionism is an art movement that was really cool. You see, there were a bunch of these sad old art nerds who were all like, ooh, the world is bleak and ugly. What if I made art that was also bleak and ugly? Woo-hoo. Then a bunch of them got together and made stuff that was angular and gross. If you have a kid in their first or second year of college, they're probably all about this crap. Because oh, look at me. Look at how sad I am. If only someone would touch my wiener. There you have it. Abstract expressionism. Just for the taste of it.
So,
but then there's an eyeball. Oh wait, that's avant-garde, where they were like poking eyeballs with needles and stuff, and like, oh, here's a cow heart,
Clockwork.
Right. and
lobster
then-
telephone.
Well, and it all kind of connects to Dadaism.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you have the
Don't trust your eyes.
right.
They suck.
Just use your butt to watch this movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Did
what
you
Dan
still
did.
have the captions on at this point, or had you turned them off, Dan?
I had turned them off.
Okay.
Because my butt doesn't need the caption.
And you were enjoying the movie.
I was enjoying the movie.
Me too. I liked this one.
How'd your butt feel
Mine?
about the movie?
kind of itchy, actually.
All the sitting.
It was a little bit itchy.
Well, my butt really has a good read of like color, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that it was more vibrant for me because I was watching it with my butt.
It's almost over. So Patch uses his knowledge of the Thunderbolt show to help them all escape. All the Patch's schemes inspires Thunderbolt. Like he's inspired by it. This kid's doing it. The puppies accidentally start a double-decker bus, and Cruella and Goons give chase.
Yes.
Cruella catches one of them, and she says 98 more to go. That makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
There's 101, including Pongo and his wife.
Exactly.
99 puppies. I didn't understand that.
Puppies.
Cut to the set of
Fear.
Thunderbolt, where Lightning is having his moment in the sun when the parade of puppies and goons crash the set. Patch, using yet another of the scenes from the Thunderbolt show, saves the day again and catches Cruella. That's from the scene from the cartoon at the beginning with the twirly mustache.
Yes,
they recreate that scene.
So great.
Yep.
That was very good thing that they brought back.
Agreed.
Good job.
Good job.
10
And
out of 10.
he even sees Cruella as the evil mustache
Yeah.
twirler.
I don't think we talked enough about the character, the TV show producer, the like really animated guy.
And I thought he was somebody, and he's not. I mean, he's an actor, but I thought it was
Everybody's
somebody more
somebody.
famous. Thank you.
Hey, he didn't. We don't really need to talk
No,
about
we
him.
don't.
He's not that important.
He does a good job being somebody you think is somebody important, and he's just an actor.
Chekhov's mustache. That's what I was trying to think of.
Oh, yes, very well done. Very well done.
The bear mustache.
So the dogs and the double-decker bus make it down an alley randomly. Cruella, who is now somehow free, don't know how. She and her goons.
Wait, hold on.
Well, he ties her up, and she like gets trapped and
I
captured,
know,
and then immediately
I know.
she's free.
But where's? Okay, that's fine.
I just,
It's just
I would
so
certainly.
forgiving about all these other terrible movies. And this one's just like, well, I don't know how she broke free.
I'm like, listen back. I point out the nonsense in every of these
I
movies.
believe you.
Anyway, so Cruella is now suddenly
Patches
free.
doesn't know how to do his knots.
Yeah, well, yeah, he went to summer camp, but
He does
Just
know
one
how to
dog.
do his patching.
patchwork.
Patchwork. That's the word I wanted.
Speaking of patches, here's a trailer for Patch Adams, the Robin Williams movie.
And we're back.
A pole full of spaghetti. Who knew?
Wacky clown nose. I'm Patch Adams. I have my. Never mind. So the Cruella and the goons catch up to them down the alley. Patch tells the others to escape through a window upstairs while he holds them off. How is he going to hold them off? He doesn't know. Just as he's standing his ground and about to get caught, he's trying to do his bark like Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt arrives to save the day. Thunderbolt and Patch try to run over Lightning. They literally back the bus up to run over the dog.
He deserved it.
Run over the dog and Cruella and the goons. They back up the bus. They're running away. They land in the river. They get arrested. Cruella gets carried off to the loony bin. The parents all unite with their puppies. And Pongo tells Patch how much they missed him, which is bullshit. He never even talked about the dog. Never even knew he was gone. Anyway.
Now that he's a hero and he's impressive,
When
it's
they
like,
see
everybody's supported you.
If you were worried about the maid, like I was, she's fine.
She's fine.
She's
out of the
totally
well.
fine. She looks completely unharmed.
Anyway, so they thank Thunderbolt for saving them all, but Thunderbolt's like, no, it was Patch who's the real hero.
No.
The end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's it.
Amazing. Good job.
Yeah, agreed.
So what I was getting into before is I think I uncovered like a magic secret formula kind of thing for what makes these straight to video sequels potentially tolerable or perhaps even good, and what makes them potentially very much not, at least for me. And I think what works here is that you have, so if you were to ask me what the first 101 Dalmatians was about, what happens in it,
Dan, what's the first 100?
I have no idea. I don't even know if I've seen it. I probably have, but I no idea. There's dogs, Cruella de Vil, there's something about a coat. I really truly don't know if I've even seen
You
it.
got it all.
I probably have,
You
but
just described it perfectly.
yeah. So you have a really loose concept and a really strong style. It like this. The concept is it's a solid enough concept, but it's mainly the style that we're looking at, and it's mainly like there's a strong character or a strong characteristic, whatever. Some things happen, but there's not a lot of emotional like connection or content. Whereas like Beauty and the Beast, like there's a super important arc there. There's like the characters all go through a lot of changes. It's about there's a lot of depth there potentially. A Hunchback of Notre Dame also, it's like there's a very strong sort of emotional connection there. Mm-hmm. And I think that these movies, I have to imagine that they start off with like a producer or somebody who's like kind of not connected to it. And if you were to ask this person, what's Cinderella about? Princess hasn't always been a princess, but also has kind of always been a princess. Mm-hmm. And then she becomes a princess. They live happily ever after. Okay, we can work with that. There's a wide field of things that we can do there.
So
Aladdin,
Dan, real quick.
Yeah.
I think it feels like there's a room of writers, directors who want to be mainstream. They want to be Ron Musker and Ron Clemens and whatever. And so there's this whole like director's room, and there's this giant wheel.
Yeah,
you just spin the wheel and it lands on 101 Dalmatians. Like you, Fred.
Yeah, totally.
Make it
right.
Dang it.
Where and then like okay, so then in the other direction, Pocahontas. First of all, based on a real person, really troublesome there. Deals with a lot of a lot of issues with history.
I remember what you used to call Mulan.
I'm not aware of what you used to call
Mulan. Pocahontas Joy.
Which it basically was. I mean, that's the mindset.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's Pocahontas, but with chopsticks. Whatever. Beauty and the Beast, it's like, lady lives with the guy. He's a big, ferocious wolf person, and then he turns into a regular guy. But so to make a sequel out of those more like emotionally vested ones, it becomes really, really hard to make,
especially because they're in the pantheon. Like everybody knows the story, and these stories are based on actual
things
that are in the zeitgeist. Everybody knows the story. The Cinderella story, we talked about it like every March. There's a basketball team in the NCAA who's the Cinderella story. Everybody knows what that is.
What's the name of the author?
Tom
Hansel and
Authorman.
Gretel. Brothers Grimm.
The Grimm, the Brothers Grimm. So many of these Snow White.
Those are more deeply rooted in our culture than 101 Dalmatians.
Exactly. Or 101.
Or even like Lion King. It's a bunch of animals doing Shakespeare.
Yeah.
We can make movies out of that. Little Mermaid. It's possibly about somebody who is attracted to somebody that their culture is telling them that they shouldn't be attracted to.
Julia.
We can make a lot of movies in that world. 101 Dalmatians. Who knows? And Aladdin, basically Cinderella, but a guy.
Yeah.
And then
Cinderella.
Where this theory, I think, really holds up to is with Alice in Wonderland, which the original
it's a bunch of abstract
stories, weird
yeah.
characters with a central character that we can use as like basically a ride vehicle to go through this land. And this is where the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland falls apart, because all of a sudden it turns into, this is a character that we need to be invested in. Mm-hmm. And this is a world with like, there's this other deeper story behind it, which is why no sequel for you on that.
Oh, they did.
They did, but that's why it's terrible, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that this is one of those, I think this is a pattern that I'm probably going to end up seeing fall through, even if it's not really there.
It makes a lot of sense, Dan. And it's kind of like, think about Toy Story. Like, Toy Story is an original story. It may pull from tropes, but it's an original story, which is why 3 and 4 are equally powerful.
Well, yeah.
Emotionally, because it's not in the zeitgeist. It's this sort of
It's new.
abstract new thing. So you can make a sequel about it because you're continuing a story we don't really know.
Yeah.
Versus Aladdin, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast. We all know these stories. And so if you're going to continue the story and make up the next chapter of this thing that is in a bubble, like the whole thing exists.
Right.
And it's like, what did I hear recently? It's like, there's a series of movies that were made that it's like, oh, Friends. It was Friends.
Mhm.
And we watched the reunion and they're like, the creator's like, we're not going to make a new movie because we tied it up so well
Mhm.
that we have to destroy all of the things we tied up in order to create new conflict to resolve. We don't need to do that because we tied it up so well.
But they do it anyway.
Well, they're not going to
Oh.
than them. But that's what's happened with these movies. Is like they tied it up in a perfect little package and you have to create and break that thing to create new conflict. And if you don't do it smart, like they did with Toy Story, then it just
And so some of these are more
Falls
inherently breakable, like
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid, just underwater,
Sure.
like something you're not supposed to like movie. Beauty and the Beast, it's like, well, we can't have it be Belle and some guy because that's not sellable in the Beauty and the Beastiverse.
Mhm.
So what if we make it that Belle teaches Beast how to play checkers the Thursday before she says those magic words?
Right.
And it ends up just inflating this thing.
That doesn't
the bubble,
need to be inflated.
same thing with like the Hunchback. It's like, well, okay. All right, so you got this guy. He's ugly and he's strong and he's lonely, and we could talk about that. And then Esmeralda, she's Mexican or something, right? Okay, so we got that.
She's dirty. She's brown.
You know,
Oh my
like and it shows in I think the sequels.
Yes, and with the Beauty and the Beast example, you're filling in the gaps, and it can be done well. And I'll point to Rogue One that you haven't seen.
Rogue
It
One's pretty
fills
great.
in the gaps really well. It's not something that we asked for, but it's something we got,
Right.
and it does it incredibly well. It makes for a good prequel sequel,
Yeah,
but
and
so it can be done,
My argument for me not watching Rogue One is I'm just generally not curious.
and that's fine. That's not what this is about.
Right,
the point
right,
is,
right.
it can be done, and it can be done well.
Yep,
So the
I
Beauty and the
agree.
Beast stuff could be done well, but I think what I'm hearing you say is you have these stories that don't work as sequels because they've made a good solid self-encompassing movie.
Yeah.
Whereas 101 Dalmatians, it's just a story about an evil lady who
It
wants
just
a
needs
coat.
to be the style,
Yeah, exactly, and it does it well.
and it does it well. Like
it has
it's almost
a very strong point of view.
right. It's just
Visually.
the more vague
Yeah.
the story is, but with a style, we can work with that.
Because like even the artist is like a beatnik kind of
Yeah,
60s
totally.
And it's-
mustache, glasses.
Is that not the point of animation to begin with? Like if the story were strong and great enough on its own, you could have chosen any other medium.
That's a good point. It could
You could've-
be shadow puppets,
Live action, you
Mhm.
could have just done
stop
a book.
motion.
Mhm.
They chose animation for a particular reason because it allows you to make stylistic choices that you can't make in any other
Yep.
format. So for those other sequels that don't try to encapsulate the style of the original, they obviously look less interesting, they feel less successful.
It's not the world that you're.
No,
Yeah,
it's just like, let's tack this on.
Yeah.
Versus being alive or something. I don't know.
it's like boxed macaroni and cheese compared to like I put it in the oven and I made this for 2 hours macaroni.
By
and
the way,
cheese.
Yeah.
I make a hell of a mean Kraft macaroni and cheese. Undercook the pasta, little al dente,
Yeah.
extra butter,
Yeah.
very little milk,
Mhm.
Not a
powdered
lot of
cheese.
milk.
It's great.
Powdered
you heard it
cheese.
here.
Where do you get powdered cheese?
From the Kraft box.
Oh, I see.
So let's see if this holds up, okay? To your theory.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 101 Dalmatians 2, which was good.
Yeah,
It was an
it's
enjoyable movie. It didn't feel like a straight to video sequel.
No,
It had credits.
I mean, it
had
did in that same sense of like,
Well, and it
you know,
was
the
fast
frozen pizza analogy.
Right.
It's all there's always gonna be something about it that you're like, it's not see it at a movie theater good, but I don't feel like I wasted my time. I enjoyed. I actually laughed at parts of it.
Yeah. Well, Cruella was great.
Cruella's fantastic.
Yeah. This is interesting. Our very next film, call back to our earlier conversation, Atlantis, Milo's Return.
Ooh,
Oh
and
my God.
I bet because it's such a loose. Because Atlantis is just like they go underwater and they find some things.
Atlantis is the perfect package.
Yeah.
That movie stands. It doesn't need to be expanded upon at all.
I wonder who'd seen that. It was Audrey.
I love
Right.
that movie
So,
so
wait,
much.
okay,
It's so cool.
So Atlantis, the original movie, is it that perfect
Yeah.
bubble thing?
Yeah, they wrap it up nice and tight.
Interesting.
So I'm going to list off, based on the hypothesis that you've laid out for us, I'm going to list off the next handful of movies and just see if it's going to pass your test or not.
And I'll watch Atlantis just to see if this holds up.
I have to.
Yeah, I
I've
think
never
we have
seen
to
it.
now.
Atlantis, Milo's Return. Will it pass your test?
I think it will, not knowing anything about the original movie, but I think it will because you can. So it's basically like if you can sum it up in that really cynical producer way and then say to yourself, okay, well, we can work with that, then I think that fits. And I think that the cynical producer would say, it's underwater, they find some stuff, maybe alien, who knows? Movie. I say movie.
Stitch the movie.
Definitely.
I think it passes because Lilo and Stitch was a made-up story. It's not necessarily part of the zeitgeist.
And they leave it pretty open.
Yeah.
And there's aliens in it too.
There's aliens,
And it's and the basic premise is wacky alien, misfit kid. Yeah, I say movie.
Does anybody know what Recess is?
Yes.
Oh, it's a TV show.
Because there's a straight-to-video sequel. Both came out on the same day. Recess All Grown Down and Recess Taking the Fifth Grade. Does that
was never
count?
a movie. Recess was never a movie.
Lion King 1.5.
Because I saw it in theaters with some friends.
Is it animated?
Yes.
Recess was a movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
Not the original show, no, but there was definitely a movie that I saw.
It's a movie based, but the original is a TV show.
I believe so. Yes.
We might need to do a coin toss on that one.
Recess is an American animated television series.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Nix.
Okay. So Lion King
1.5, which Audrey's already seen.
That's right.
Like 7 months.
Oh my gosh, I get to revisit it.
I think that one. Well, we've seen it.
I wonder if I have my notes on that.
That one to me, when I haven't seen it in years, but I remember it standing up because it's basically following the format of we're going to do some Shakespeare stuff with animals.
I think it does. I yes, we've seen it. I remember liking it. A rapid fire. Springtime with Rue.
No, because I think
is that a Winnie the Pooh thing?
Winnie the Pooh, if you don't have an appreciation for the characters and know how to deal with them, it's gonna be a disaster.
I do have my notes from Lion King 1.5.
Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, the Three Musketeers. Does that count?
No, I don't think that
Mulan
counts.
2.
No.
Tarzan 2. Not to be mistaken with Tarzan and Jane.
No.
Lilo and Stitch 2.
Sure, why not?
Oh my gosh.
Who's Heffalump Halloween movie?
No.
Bambi 2.
Oh God, no.
Leroy and Stitch.
Wait. Bambi 2. I think it might.
Didn't the mom die?
Yeah.
But the whole
beginning of the first one.
But the whole idea of the movie. So okay, cynical producer version of that movie of the original is it's royal. It's the royal family in the forest, and there's a hierarchy of forest creatures.
I like this cynical producer character.
So I want to the game is over now, but I want to just point out on this list of straight to video sequels before we get into our next venture in Scraping the Vault.
Yeah.
Peter Pan was a movie. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight to video sequels.
Yeah.
Tinkerbell.
Oh God.
Tinkerbell
and
the Lost Treasure.
Oh God, no, it's gonna be
Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Rescue.
No, it's gonna be nothing but sassy
Phineas
ass
and
Tank.
Ferb the movie. And then Secret of the Wings, Tinkerbell.
Let's do them all
the
in one
Pirate
mega
Fairy,
episode.
Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Never Beast.
I
That
have
is the very last.
such deep hatred for sassy ass Tank. I do not like that it's a thing.
What? Why? I want to unpack it. I want to. What's your problem with Sassy Tank?
Sassy ass Tank was such a thing for a period of time.
Tank?
Tink.
Tink.
Where it
Tink.
just
Tink, tink,
was
tink,
like
Tink.
Ding,
Tink,
ding.
tink, tink,
people,
tink,
I
tink,
think-
tink, tink,
I have not been drinking, and they have. No, it became this weird
She's
thing.
Druish.
That movie doesn't hold up.
It was almost like a stand-in for the not before my coffee trope, where it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not impossible. I'm just sassy. It's like, no, you're
yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So potential Scraping the Vault extension.
I think Eric needs to take my place for the Tink movies.
Well, that's a lot. There's a lot of Tink movies. But
Again.
so the very last straight to video Disney animated sequel was Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Never Beast in March of 2015.
The last one.
I love them. Is it CGI or hand drawn?
All animation. Oh, it's probably CGI. Yeah.
Oh boy!
And then there's
a
series of live action remakes. You ready for this? This is Scraping the Vault in the future. Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. The Jungle Book, Mowgli's Story. Inspector Gadget 2. George of the Jungle 2. Snow Buddies.
Oh my gosh.
Secret of the Magic Guard.
The Buddies universe is deep.
Space Buddies. Santa Buddies. The Search for Santa Paws.
All in.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
Oh my
Spooky Buddies. Treasure Buddies. Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3. Viva La Fiesta. Santa Paws 2. The Santa Pups. And Super Buddies.
Audrey, do you know what the Buddies film universe is working off of?
Yes.
Air Bud.
Yes, which is a great movie. But why? Why?
Scraping the Vault.
I didn't know that the Buddies cinematic universe existed until a couple of years ago, and I was just like, I need an excuse to watch all of these. And I think I have that excuse now.
Well, I'm glad that both of us are excited about things in the future for Scraping the Vault.
And here's what I'm excited about. The theatrical films that are Disney remakes, live action remakes,
yes,
which we're going to start sprinkling in so that we, can extend beyond the Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Starting with Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book in 1994. Not the Jon Favreau version. And then there's 101 Dalmatians, 102 Dalmatians.
Both going to be great.
Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton. Maleficent, which is technically a sequel or a prequel. I don't know. Cinderella, Kenneth Branagh. The Jungle Book. By the way, Cinderella in that movie, what's her name? She's gorgeous. She's
very pretty.
She's in the sequel to Mamma Mia. She's wonderful. The Jungle Book, Jon Favreau. Alice Through the Looking Glass, maybe. Beauty and the Beast, of course. Christopher Robin, maybe. Dumbo, yes. Aladdin, yes. Lion King, yes. Maleficent, maybe. Cruella, maybe. And then here are the future offerings.
Oh my god!
By the way, Lady and the Tramp and Mulan were on Disney Plus. Future offerings, upcoming films: The Little Mermaid, The Jungle Book sequel, another Jon Favreau joint. The Lion King sequel. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is a must. Aladdin sequel, Hunchback, Bambi, Hercules, and a Cruella sequel.
Dang.
So the Aladdin sequel is like, our worlds will be folding in upon themselves.
Wait, there's more.
Oh my god.
Because on Disney Plus, here are the upcoming live action remakes of animated classics.
Holy
Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh my god.
Pinocchio.
No.
By Robert Zemeckis,
Good
by the
God.
way. The Sword and the Stone. Robin Hood.
Sword and the Stone might actually be good.
Lilo and Stitch.
No.
A live action remake of Lilo and Stitch?
Live action remake Lilo and
No.
Stitch. And an untitled Prince Anders film. The original film is Aladdin, so it's a remake on Disney+.
All right. What are we drinking?
We are going to be drinking. What have we been drinking is the question. Here's the beer we're going to drink tonight when we're watching 101 Dalmatians 2 Patch's London Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Dalmatian Belgian Double by Metazoa Brewing Company in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Is it made of puppies?
Ingredient number 1, puppy skin.
I'm seeing double spots.
The Belgian style double ranges from brown to very dark in color. They have a malty sweetness and can have a caramel and cocoa aromas and flavors. Hop bitterness is medium, low to medium. Yeast-generated fruity esters, especially bananas, can be apparent. Often bottle-conditioned, a slight yeast haze and flavor may be evident. Double, meaning double. This beer is still not so big in intensity as it surpassed the Belgian-style quadruple that is often considered its sibling.
Wow.
That's why I chose this one, because sibling and Dalmatian.
And it's one of a
Good.
kind.
That's very well thought out.
And it's one of a kind. Not
I-
1 out of 101. What are we going to be eating, Tommies?
I didn't no.
Are we going to be
You know
eating a
what?
California burrito?
How about the burrito?
Explain the burrito to us.
If you must know, it is a wet super California burrito
Super
from
California burrito in
El Cutition
Yes.
Yeah, on
No.
on
No, we don't need any more details.
just 3 blocks away
So
from.
it was smothered in a red enchilada sauce
So
filled
good.
with French fries, carne asada, pico de gallo, cheese, sour cream, and all the regular fixins.
And it was wet on purpose.
It
That's
was
important.
wet on purpose. Yeah. It was really good. Much more interesting, honestly, than what I wrote down. I didn't think this one through as much as I feel like I should have. I wrote down Cocoa Puffs because it looks like the human equivalent of kibble.
Oh, that's good.
Or Dalmatians, because the Cocoa Puffs with the milk,
Mhm.
like spots in the white.
Spots.
Mhm,
I love Cocoa
mhm.
Puffs, especially if it's in a cup, because like cereal in a bowl with milk, whatever, so predictable. Cereal in a
cup?
cup. No,
That's something new.
that's something new.
My song choice is a little bit different this time because I don't have my toys. It's more of an experience, and it's when you go to, and I realize people who know me might. It's if you go to a karaoke bar and you don't want to go, right?
I can't relate. I love
right.
karaoke.
You and me both love karaoke, but let's say if you're at a karaoke bar and you're not necessarily wanting to be there, maybe because you just want to go somewhere else,
Mhm.
and then someone gets up and they sing a song pretty well enough, like actually good, but it's not like a heavy lift song. You know, it's like a B to C level of like familiarity. It's not one of those where you're just like, yes, that's a banger. It's one of those where it's just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that.
This person can hold a tune.
Right, and it's done well enough, and it's not a hard song to do, but they're doing it. Not a lot of emotional content there. It's not really like a classic, but it's adequate. You know, like things that come to mind are like Tears for Fears, Shout. Just like, oh, that song. I remember that song.
Mhm.
Oh, they're doing it okay.
Shout.
Or yeah,
Shout.
right. David
Let
Bowie.
it all out.
Exactly.
These
Or like
are the things I can do
or like
without
David Bowie's
you. Come on.
I'm talking to you, so come on.
Or, you know, it's similarly like not a lot of depth or emotional content, but things that can be done skillfully. Like, I don't know, Jimmy, what's any Billy Joel song?
This is a very
Vienna.
pointed personal attack.
I just wanted to see what would happen. So yeah, that's my
Vienna.
musical selection.
Son of a bitch.
Wonderful. Good.
So I want to highlight. So, congratulations, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
It's going to be a great evening in watching this great movie. We have been getting. I've started working for Concierge,
Mhm.
and we've been getting a couple times a week. I'm getting calls or emails from listeners of the Ears Up Podcast Network.
That's
Rosie is offering wine to Audrey.
It's fine.
So we've been getting a lot of our listeners. So we appreciate listeners that are reaching out, getting tickets. We're having a celebration for Dan later this year, and we've had a lot of listeners of Dan reach out. I've booked several trips.
This is not an invitation.
It's not an invitation. I'm not going to tell you
Dan
when.
fans.
I'm not going to tell you when we're going to be there on October 16th.
Jimmy's
But
been drinking.
we anyway, I want to highlight the Thompson family. They are listeners of the Ears Up Network, and they're going later this month to Disneyland, and I helped book their trip, and it was a lot of fun.
Yay!
And the Johnson family
Mm-hmm.
booked their trip,
Mm-hmm.
and quite a few others. So anyway, October 16th.
Thompson Twins, also a good band for karaoke.
That's right. Anyway, so
That was going to go
it's-
in a different direction.
Here, I just want to give an example. So we had a family who was hesitant to go during mask time, and mask mandates were lifted. And so they booked their trip, but they're still enforcing it for younger kids. And so they're hesitant because they don't want their kids to have masks on, which maybe doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, I mean, there's no vaccine available for kids. And if there is or ever, like, anyway, so we were able to go in and we could look at different options for them to cancel or to postpone their trips so they didn't have to pay cancellation fees. So there's a lot of different things, and spend a lot of time, concierge spends a lot of time on the phone with Disney. And my record is 4 hours.
Wow.
On hold for a guest who had a question. I didn't have the answer, so I waited on hold for 4 hours.
You guys freaking care about what you do, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of there not being a vaccine for kids, here's an ad for Asher's vaccine for kids who are cool and real.
Greetings, cool kids who are real. I am a smart science person who is also real. But I am not cool. Science is not cool. But it is real. I am excited to inform you of a new tincture available at your physician's office. It is a COVID vaccine for kids under 12 who are cool and real. It was made in the toilet of a 10-year-old boy who lives in an undisclosed location. Maybe Orange County. It is a proprietary mix of the following ingredients that I have listed on the inside of a used Trapper Keeper. Butt hair. Listerine. Pills my grandma uses to stay a woman. Ritalin. Purple stuff. Coconut jelly beans. Farts. Angel dust. And the parts of Lucky Charms that aren't marshmallows. It is available in chewable tablet form. Tell your physician that a very smart science person told you to tell them that you are real and cool and you want Asher's COVID vaccine. Your physician can be reached by calling 856-EARS. Thank you. I love you.
And we're back. But yeah, I guess the point is that we appreciate all of you who have been calling in or are emailing your local Disneyland folks, and you can do it yourself, but you've been reaching out to us to book. We appreciate all of you. Keep doing it. It goes a long way. It helps. And it seems that every time a Ears Up listener reaches out to a concierge, it comes to me. So if you want to talk to me about Disneyland planning,
and it sounds like that is an invitation.
It is an invitation, please. It's a lot of fun. I really been enjoying doing it. Also, listen to our other shows. That's Ears Up in Depth, Scraping the Vault, of course, which you just listened to. Great show. We love Audrey. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. It is so freaking cool to be here in person.
It's great in person.
It feels much. It is always a conversation with you guys, but being able to see both of you express with your faces and also talk in person is
with my butt.
With your butt. Such a treat. Such a treat. I'm invigorated.
Thank you. And then Supreme Resort. We're going to record live tomorrow at Disneyland-ish.
Which right
with Natalie from Disneyland.
You will have heard that by now.
This will be out after that. There's a couple episodes I have not yet released.
I'm going to throw my team under the bus right now.
Throw them.
Damn you guys for taking vacation. The one time my podcast family is in California going to Disneyland.
It won't be the last, Audrey. And we just added about 4 years of shows to her.
You're right.
And then reach out to it. Oh, also there's banter.
Banter
two
milk. Guys that milk.
Boobies, milk.
Boobies.com.
I think the proper name of the show is Milk Lemonade Around the Corner Fudge is Made.
A Star Wars podcast.
That should be the name.
Let's get it changed. You know what? I have full admin access. I'm changing it. Anyway,
we need to have them on the show just so that we can title
Milk Lemonade. Around the Corner Fudge is Made. We should do Star Wars things with them. That'd be fun. Yeah, we could do the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh my God, yes.
We could do episode 9.
I mean, listen, I liked it. I like them all. Anyway, so contact us. I'm Jimmy at earsup-podcast.com. That's Dan at earsup-podcast.com. That's
Nerdry on Instagram.
Yeah. And we have an Instagram where their second post of all time was posted today while we were ordering Mexican food.
I don't know what you're talking about. Our Instagram is very great and very well run, and I take all the responsibility for it.
It's all good. Anyway, so guys, this was a lot of fun. We should do it again.
I'm sad it has to end.
Oh,
This is such a great episode.
It is a great episode.
It is.
It's a good movie. I'm glad Dan liked it. It gives me hope for the future that not because we've been going down this thing where it's like everyone is like, oh god, this again. This is a breath of fresh air. It gives me hope for Dan.
Yeah. I'm not, look, I don't just hate things.
I know. But we were going down a path of just repetition.
I know.
This broke the mold. It is a new, unique story. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
Hate the next one.
I mean, you probably will. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's we already established it's Atlantis.
Yes.
Atlantis, Milo's Returns. We have to watch Atlantis and Milo's Returns.
Don't tell us what happened.
I'm gonna hate it, but I'm gonna love it.
2003 American animated science fiction film produced by Disney's Toon
Watch
Studios.
the original, please.
And a sequel to the 2001 animated film Atlantis.
I want to know.
By the way, they wanted Atlantis to be so good that they were going to change the submarine voyage to be themed after the Atlantis movie, but it tanked, so they just left it dormant for like 10 years, and then they made it into Finding Nemo.
Pun intended.
And the Matterhorn sank.
And the Matterhorn sank because they had to drain the lake. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening.
And this part's going to be easier. Until next time,
be kind and
rewind.
Hello. My name is Fartbutt and I'm here to talk to you about the latest podcast craze. It's a little something called cranking your gain way too high. Some people like their audio to sound normal and good. But as you can hear on this podcast episode, Dan's microphone is so hot on your ears you might just start to hear other voices inside of his voice. How is such a thing possible, you might ask? It's simple, just use Fartbutt's guide to cranking your gain like a damn maniac. You can get it free today by dialing 5 7 2 3 4 8 1 7 2 0 7 7 7 7 5 2 4 1 0 0 6 7 9. Back to the show.